We couldn't have committed sex crime. Hopes of a major breakthrough in the treatment of CJD. England pick up Robbie Fowler after Liverpool dropped him. And EasyJet blunder over Blair's summer holiday plans.
From ITN, the ITV News at 10 with Kirsty Young.
Good evening. Neil and Christine Hamilton gave ITV News their first extended television interview today about the serious sexual assault allegations they're facing. They told Colin Baker how they intended to fight the accusations by providing police with an hour-by-hour account of their movements on the day they're said to have committed the crime. It was clear that the events of the last few days have taken their toll on Mrs. Hamilton in particular. Here's Colin Baker's report.
The Hamiltons returning home tonight, ending another day of protestations, indignity and outrage. Repeated charge and counter-charge has left them bruised. This evening, when I talked to them outside their Cheshire home, the physical strain of having to defend accusations of serious sexual misconduct were beginning to show.
We're saying, in addition to the allegations being wholly false and fictitious, that the police ought to have done more groundwork before they took the extraordinary draconian step of arresting somebody.
Do you feel you were pushed into a corner by this?
Definitely, because we knew that it was bound to leak out that we'd been to the police station and been arrested. Therefore, we had everything to gain and nothing to lose from taking the initiative ourselves, because if we hadn't done it, somebody else would have done it, and in a way which was more to our disadvantage.
The police have had 3 months to come up with something concrete. Have they said to you that they have found something?
Well, the police couldn't do in 3 months what the press in this country did in 24 hours. Show that the rapist, so-called, was a chronic asthmatic and on crutches.
I asked Mr. Hamilton if he had ever met the alleged victim or the alleged rapist.
Never met either of these individuals before. The police showed me photographs. I didn't recognise them. Their names are completely unknown to me. We'd never been to any party of any kind in Ilford before, hardly ever been to Ilford before in our lives.
Do you know where this flat is in Ilford? Have you been there?
Haven't a clue. I don't even know, all I know is the name of the block, and I have no idea where, apparently on a council estate.
How do you know the name of the block?
Because the police gave us the name of the block in our interview.
You had a dinner party that night?
We did, and we have 4 witnesses who will give evidence to the police as to our whereabouts.
Presumably you've been able to go through your diary and events of that day with clear recollection.
We've been putting together, from receipts and credit card entries and so on, information as to where we were at different points in the day, and taken in the round. That should establish that it was physically impossible for us to be in Ilford at the time it was alleged, or indeed at any time.
Are you getting close to a position where you're filling in all the gaps in the hours, the minutes, the day?
Yes, not complete, but I hope very soon it will be, and when I'm in a position to do so, I shall publish all this.
And your wife now, how are you bearing up?
Well, I suppose I've had 7 years to get used to this sort of thing, but it's...
Well, not 7 years to get used to this sort of allegation.
No, but I am bearing up, but I'm tired, and, awful reality sort of begins to sink in. And,
Thank you both very
much.
much.
You just have to keep going, don't you? And I will, as always.
Thanks.
The couple say that they are now hoping for a few days' peace and quiet. Colin Baker, ITN, Cheshire.
Details were published tonight of what may be an astonishing breakthrough in the search for a treatment for the human equivalent of mad cow disease. The apparent reversal of symptoms of new variant CJD in a British woman has startled some scientists. Our medical editor, Lawrence McGinty, explains.
Rachel Forber will go down in history as the first patient with suspected variant CJD to be given a remarkable new American treatment. And tonight it looks like other British patients could get the same drug. Her family say her improvement has been astonishing. Before she went to America, she couldn't walk, her memory was failing, and like other patients with variant CJD, she faced a certain death sentence.
What we actually need now is trials for more people. For anybody who's got this condition now, they need to be given the same chance.
Nobel Prize winner Stanley Krusner, a leading expert on CJD, developed the treatment based on two tried and tested drugs. One is mepacrin, used by soldiers in the Second World War for malaria. The other, for treating schizophrenia, is almost as old. Results of lab tests on the drugs released tonight show they do block CJD, but they haven't been tried on animals to prove they work.
We're fairly certain that people would in fact die of the disease, and the drugs themselves don't have that many side effects. Death isn't one of the side effects, put it that way. And so, because of this, I think we should be more aggressive. We should go ahead and try using these drugs, if only to find out if they work.
The Department of Health says the results achieved by the American group are encouraging, though far from conclusive. Nevertheless, CJD is such a terrible disease, and the need for treatment so desperate, that trials involving British patients could go ahead in the very near future. Lawrence McGinty, ITN, at the Department of Health.
3 British men went on television in Saudi Arabia today and confessed to being behind a series of bomb blasts there. James Patrick Lee, James Cottle and Les Walker said they carried out the attacks in the capital Riyadh and in Al-Khobar. The explosions between December and March injured 3 people. Human rights groups fear their confessions may have been forced out of them. ITV News was handed dramatic footage today showing the worsening plight of white farmers in Zimbabwe. The farmers are accusing President Robert Mugabe of a form of ethnic cleansing as he continues to seize their homes and land. Most of the farms under attack are about 100 miles northwest of the capital Harare, around the towns of Chinhoyi and Mangura. Getting access there has been extremely difficult for journalists. Here's our Africa correspondent, Tim Hewitt.
Zimbabwe's program of land reform turned to one of destruction as an orgy of looting continued today. More than 30 farms have been ransacked, equipment smashed and any hope of production shattered. Kevin Nell bought Lions Creek Farm only 3 years ago. It wasn't even on the list of property to be taken over by the government. Now Mr. Nell's wife and 3 children are in hiding, one of 100 families forced to abandon their homes and flee. The Nell's house has been stripped bare. Farming officials are bewildered by the scale of what's been happening. The latest trouble began with the arrest and imprisonment of 21 white farmers who'd gone to rescue a friend and were charged with assaulting government supporters invading his farm. Jeering crowds have gathered as the farmers have unsuccessfully lodged a series of bail applications. State officials say their property is being seized.
We are taking these farms. They must consider themselves in the cells where they are, that they are no longer having their farms to go to.
And President Mugabe says he won't halt the land seizures despite the threat of sanctions from the United States and Europe.
We will proceed with current land reform with or without sanctions.
Even here, political tensions boiled to the surface. A man wearing an opposition T-shirt was set on by the crowd. It was one small incident among many others that now go unseen. Reporting events in Zimbabwe has become increasingly difficult. Until recently, foreign journalists could travel there freely. Now, several have been forced to leave, and there's a lengthy application process for those trying to get in. Mr. Mugabe, it seems, does not want the world watching. Tim Hewitt, ITN, Johannesburg.
And our apologies for the problems with the sound on that report. Back here now, and train robber Ronnie Biggs is in hospital tonight after having an emergency blood transfusion. Doctors say Biggs, seen here before his return to Britain from exile in Brazil earlier this year, is stable but will have further tests during his stay. His son Michael is at his bedside. He said tonight he's worried about his father. The government announced today it's extending a scheme allowing police to use money from speeding fines to put up more cameras to stop people going too fast. The new cameras will capture motorists doing just a few miles over the limit. Safety groups welcome the move, but many motorists aren't convinced. Chris Troy has the details.
They're designed to stop speeders, but today it was the government that was rushing. Just halfway through a 2-year trial, it's extending a scheme allowing police to keep fines income to buy cameras.
Research shows that many drivers think that this is just a money spinner. Aren't you concerned by that?
I certainly am, because the objective of this is to change drivers' behaviour, reduce speed, cut accidents and cut injuries.
During the first year of the trial, speed cameras were monitored in 8 areas around the country. Now 4 more police forces join. They are Derbyshire, Lancashire, North Wales and Staffordshire. Both police and ministers say there is now evidence to justify more cameras. The number of people killed or seriously injured around them has dropped dramatically, 109 fewer than the previous year. The number of drivers speeding at camera sites also fell, 39%, and there's been a drop in the number of children killed or hurt, 51 fewer in Cleveland alone. Caroline Hobbs lost her mother and her 8-year-old daughter Jade in a traffic accident. Tonight she said speeders are too often portrayed as camera victims rather than a public danger.
Well, I think they have to realise that, you know, on an impact of 30 miles an hour, actually killed 2 people almost instantly, and they need to slow down where the speed limit is enforced. They need to know that there's a reason for it.
This is Southend Seafront. According to the police, this road here acts as a magnet for what they describe as boy and girl racers at the weekend. But under the government trial, they installed a lot of new speed cameras. Now, just one alone is catching 85 drivers every Saturday night. In future, cameras will be easier to spot, or will be brightly coloured, but it may also be easier to get caught. Today, North Wales Force said it will adjust its sights to flash at lower speeds. Chris Choi, ITN.
Michael Barrymore arrived back in Britain today after a stay at a rehabilitation centre in America. He'd had treatment for what he described as personal problems. He flew into Heathrow, saying only that he was feeling much better. He was bailed on drugs charges in June, following the death of a man at his home. He's due to appear at Harlow Police Station on Wednesday. On to football now. The Liverpool striker Robbie Fowler, who pointedly wasn't even on the subs bench in yesterday's Charity Shield, was training with England today. Speculation may be rife about his future at Anfield, but he's almost certain to figure in the England manager's plans for Wednesday's friendly against Holland. Here's Graham Miller.
A rare smile from Robbie Fowler. After being left out of Liverpool's Charity Shield side yesterday, he was at least kicking a ball with the England squad in Hertfordshire. It's renewed talk of him leaving the Merseyside club, but according to his England captain David Beckham, the top players are used to the constant speculation about their careers, and it shouldn't affect his game.
He seems fine, you know. There's always speculation about players in papers and in tabloids, so at the end of the day, you know, Robbie's trained today and he looks sharp, and you know, at the end of the day, he's a great player.
Owen Hargreaves, the new face from Bayern Munich, was keen to impress. He lives in Germany, was born in Canada, and with a Welsh mother and an English father, could have played for the 4 different countries. Sven-Göran Eriksson's delighted. He's chosen England.
Oh, training was great today. I mean, it's so easy to play with those guys because they're all so good and they always get you the ball in the right spots. And I mean, it just makes it a lot easier when those guys are, I mean, the players are also so good that it's just a lot easier on yourself as well.
No one's in sharper form than Michael Owen at the moment. He was on target again for Liverpool against Manchester United yesterday, which can only be good for England.
So this international pre-season friendly is a stark reminder for England. If they want to take part in next year's World Cup finals, they've got to perform well on Wednesday to put themselves in the right frame of mind for the crucial qualifier in Germany in 3 weeks' time. Graham Miller, ITN Sport, London Colney.
Now we end tonight's news at 10 with a cautionary tale about advertising. As you may have seen in numerous newspaper and billboards, the airline EasyJet made much of reports that Tony Blair had booked a holiday flight with them. But another report rather clipped their wings. In fact, he's flying with Ryanair. Here's John Ray.
Tonight, this is one advertising campaign grounded. The no-frills airline that claimed a VIP passenger. Tony Blair and family on board Britain's low-cost flight to the sun. So said Downing Street. The adman's dream, perhaps, but for EasyJet, too good to be true. The Prime Minister is actually booked onto their arch-rivals, Ryanair.
I think it's very embarrassing. It just goes to show that you should never count your Prime Ministers until they're hatched.
The Blairs normally travel the world on planes of the royal flight, but the Prime Minister's sensitive to talk of sky-high costs to the taxpayer. So he paid his own way on this month's Mexican holiday and plans to take Cherie and the children to France economy class. Like everyone else, he'll even have to buy his own in-flight food.
There is no such thing as a free lunch.
EasyJet and its larger-than-life owner base their ads on press reports of Mr. Blair's flight plans and make no apologies.
We spoke to number 10 shortly after we started running the campaign, and they said, if you'd have asked us, we wouldn't have given our permission. And we said, yes, that's why we didn't ask you.
So it seems you can take the Prime Minister's name in vain and get away with it. 3 weeks of headlines for EasyJet, it's true. Sometimes all publicity is good publicity. John Ray, ITN, Central London.
Take a look at today's main stories then. Neil and Christine Hamilton told ITV News today they'll soon be able to prove that they are innocent. And there are hopes tonight of a breakthrough in the search for a treatment of the human form of mad cow disease. There's the headlines, and that's tonight's News at 10. We're back, of course, tomorrow. Next on ITV1, it's A Spot of Bother. But from all of us here on News at 10, do have a very good evening. Bye-bye.
Gas, electricity and telephone.
Good evening. Well, it's a sticky night out there, and for some of us it's going to get very hot indeed tomorrow. Not all of us though, because across Scotland and Northern Ireland there'll be a lot of cloud with some outbreaks of rain, all due to a cold front that'll be moving south and east across the whole country in the next few days, bringing outbreaks of rain, some of it quite thundery, but eventually introducing fresher conditions later on in the week. But it's not very fresh out there just now. Very humid. That'll be the setup tomorrow morning. A lot of cloud, mist and murk. For eastern areas, it should brighten up with some sunshine, but Scotland and Northern Ireland, though, staying rather gloomy with outbreaks of rain. Here, perhaps temperatures no higher than 19s and 20s. Where the sun comes out, though, in the south and east, very hot, as high as 28, for example, in London. Here's a summary.
Power Gen. Gas, electricity and telephone.
Stephen Fry leads us through the highs and lows of penalty shootouts. A Spot of Bother is next.
By digitally sensing its surroundings, the new Citroën C5 offers lights that work automatically, Hydractive 3 suspension that really does read the road, wipers that know when it's raining and how hard, and EBA, emergency braking assistance to slow you faster. And its 19 onboard computers have now been rebooted to make the perfect estate. The new Citroën C5 range, technology as it should be, 100% useful.
As chairman of Vision Express, I am always looking for new ideas. These enhanced contact lenses have been proven in eye examinations to help you see better than ordinary contact lenses, as my assistant will now demonstrate. Ready, George?
Could you read the number plate on that vehicle, please?
W277SEG. Et voilà, enhanced contact lenses make small things bigger.
Vision Express, experts with vision.
Stormforce 10, ride it out at Drayton Manor Park.
Hi, I'm Stelios, and I like finding new ways to make your life easy. Most people say why. I say, why not? So why not fast-track passport processing? Why not travel insurance at competitive rates? Why not 0% commission on foreign currency exchange all year round?
Sorry, Stelios. The post office already offers all of these services, and many more. The post office. What a good idea.
Yeah, but have they got any 737s?
Water and stain repellent trousers and pinafores $5.95. Hard-wearing sweatshirts from $4.95. 100% cotton polos from $3.95 for two. Why pay more?
Saturday, and a new era dawns on ITV1 with unrivaled coverage from the Barclaycard Premiership. Join Gabby Yoroth for news and gossip from the football world in On the Ball. As the goals start flying, join the Goal Rush on ITV2 for all the latest scores, also on ITV1 from the second half. And then you'll see all the action as it happened at the new time of 7 as Des Lano presents the Premiership. And with the latest showing with extended coverage, a new era dawns Saturday on ITV1.
Get every fan biting their nails, the dreaded penalty shootouts. Stephen Fry is our guide.